For over 30,000 years, people have altered the genomes of plants and animals. They were able to do this by using selective breeding, or, in other words, artificial selection. The first example of selective breeding was the dog. By breeding for specific traits, dogs were bred for hunting and strength. In 7,800 BCE, Southwest Asia used artificial selection for creating the desirable corn we eat today. Asia also took regular white rice and then altered it to create golden rice. Golden rice is rich in beta-carotene and vitamin A. This crop is still eaten today. Artificial selection, or selective breeding, was the first form of genetic engineering, which was completed in 1973 by Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer. Stanley Cohen, an American biochemist, was awarded a Nobel Prize for creating the first bioengineered medicine in 1982. Herbert Boyer is a well-known entrepreneur in biotechnology. He was also able to find a way to produce foreign proteins. Together, the men created the human growth hormone, synthetic insulin, factor V3 for hemophilia, and many more breakthroughs in medicine. This was all possible with the help of GMOs. GMOs were also used in history and current day to maintain the mass production of crops. The use of GMOs have cut down on the use of pesticides significantly. Pesticides were first created in 1939 by Peter Muller. The first form of pesticides was DDT and was very popular. Pesticides were then later found to cause illnesses and even death. Although pesticides are still used today, such as Roundup and atrazine, the usage on a wide scale has decreased because of GMOs. GMOs have also saved the lives of bees, which are the world's largest pollinators. Despite GMOs' attributes, they have caused lots of controversy. I'm sure many have heard the word GMO before, but many don't know what it actually is. GMOs are crops or medicine developed through genetic engineering. GMOs enable plant breeders to take a desirable trait from one plant and transfer it to another plant. An example of a positive advantage GMOs provide is resistance to herbicides. The top 10 genetically modified crops available in the U.S. include alfalfa, apples, canola, corn, cotton, papaya, potatoes, soybeans, squash, and sugar beets. Although GMOs have some positive effects on agriculture, they still raise some concern on whether they are safe or not. GMOs are relatively new, and the side effects are still being slowly discovered. Many see GMOs as unhealthy and not meant for human consumption. Food allergies have also spiked, and some think it has to do with GM foods. In the 1990s, researchers examined a strain of GM soybeans. These soybeans were engineered to have proteins from Brazilian nuts. The soybeans triggered allergic reactions in those who ate them. They are no longer for sale to the general public. Most think of GMOs in food, but GMOs are a big part of medicine as well. GMOs have provided the general public with cheaper vaccines and therapeutics. GM plants that produce edible vaccines are still being researched. An edible vaccine is an antigenic protein produced in the edible portions of plants. These proteins target the immune system, providing the same job an injectable vaccine would do. This would be groundbreaking in third world countries where vaccines are scarce. This is because edible vaccines do not need to be refrigerated, and there would be no need to share needles. This would save the lives of many. I personally feel that GMOs are a necessary part of keeping up with the global crop yields. According to Healthline.com, GM foods help us find sustainable ways to feed people. Without GM foods, our country would have a shortage of food and would lead to the consumption of unhealthy and processed foods. Although GMOs are essential when it comes to crops, there is a risk when it comes to medicine. Antibiotic resistance from GM vaccines can create an antibiotic-resistant germs. According to cdc.gov, when bacteria becomes resistant, antibiotics can't fight them. Then bacteria can multiply. This would cause extreme illness and death. GMOs have multiple pros and cons, but most importantly, they save lives.